reason that I came across life books initially was because I've been ghostwriting for like 40 years nearly, and I know that there's a huge gap of people who can't afford to do a full scale, who aren't going to get a big publishing deal with Penguin or Random House or something like that. They have a really good story to tell for their intimate family and their friends and for themselves, but they don't really need a full scale ghost. And I found it really hard to find anybody who provided a really safe home for them to go to, where the whole thing was mapped out for them, where they were sort of taken by the hand, really, and guided through it. Because publishing is it's a big jungle for people who don't know anything about it at all. And so to have somebody, a friendly face at the end of the phone or the end of the video camera, as well as the interviewer who comes to see them and all that sort of thing, to have a team of people that they feel comfortable with and safe with, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'm not aware that anyone else is doing it.
Look, a project like that for yourself when you're ghostwriting something like that, how many hours would that take you? How you doing it in several months?
I tend to say to people that I want 2 or 3 full days of their life to start with. I'm going to sit down with a textbook, but I'm quite, if it's something that I can bully, I'm quite ruthless. I really want to sit for 6 or 8 hours.
Uninterrupted.
For 3 days, I want to get like 15 to 20 hours, and I'm going to make you go through it chronologically. Because I want to know what you knew at any stage of the story, even if it's not going to be in the story. So if, for instance, you're about to fly to Vienna because you've been sold as a child bride, I want to know what happened before that, because I want to know when you get to the airport, are you excited because you've never been to an airport before, or is it a bit boring because you go away every year and you know that airports are all about queues and delays and all the rest of it. Yeah. So I need to know so I need to make them tell me everything chronologically, and I'll guide them along if they start to repeat or they're going off at a tangent and I think it's not going to be of interest to the reader. I'm basically asking the questions that I know the reader is going to want to ask, because I'm as interested in their story as the eventual reader, hopefully. So I guide them through that, and then I will then do a first draft for them, which will probably be about half the length of the eventual book. Give that back, and just get them to tell, are we going along the right lines? Shall I keep going like this? Or maybe sit down again, spend another day or two if there's bits that I've realised I haven't asked them, or they've realised they haven't told me. And then I'll go away and do a final draft, and then it can go back and forth as often as they like. And they've got to know, just like your customers know, that they have the final say. If they don't want something in this, because I want them to trust me as much as they trust their lawyer or their doctor or anyone else. They've got to tell me everything, knowing that if they then decide they want to take it out, nobody's going to argue, because they've got to feel completely comfortable.
We often find that people do, and I'm sure you find the same, they give up certain information and then they say, but I don't want that in the book.
Yes, they get too comfortable.
And they get very comfortable with you, and that's why they have the editorial control at the end of the final.
But what I tend to say to them is, okay, but I'm going to put it in the first draft, but only you and I are going to see it. I'm not even going to show the publisher or whoever else is involved. Because I think when you see it on the page, it's not going to be as bad as you think, or whatever. But if you still are absolutely sure, that it's going to offend somebody, or
one of the things that we're bringing to this industry, you're at the top end of the industry, and you've been doing it for many years, and you've actually seen this industry, as we call it, grow. For us, what I've tried to create was to ensure that we had integrity at an end of the industry which is affordable to people who wouldn't normally even consider doing an autobiography.
Yes. You see, that didn't exist at all 20 years ago. You were either a published author or you fell into the hands of sharks. There was nobody providing a safe product, because everybody was promising that they'd make your book a bestseller. Yeah. Because if you weren't with one of the big publishers, you had to believe you were going to compete with them. You were going to be on the front table at Waterstones and all the rest of it. And of course, anybody in the business knows it's impossible to manufacture a bestseller. And it's a lottery. You send your book out there, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So to be very clear about what you're selling them, and what they're going to get, which is that they're going to get the contact with the interviewer, they're going to get the fun of telling their story, and they're going to get the final book for friends and family. Yes. I wish that I had known about a service like this, when my mother, like I would say probably 30, 40 years ago, she wrote a book about her growing up in the 1930s. And I, you know, like all Sandra, took no notice at all. And it was all things she'd never talked about before. And it was only after she died, and I found this manuscript, that I started reading and thinking all the questions, like you said, with your father, all the questions that I would have wished I'd asked her at the time. And to my shame, it was my cousin who said, "Oh, let's make a little book of it," not me.
Yeah.
And I wish and I'd love to have done it with my father as well. If
Yeah.
but you weren't around, Roy, in time.
No.